for agreeing to do this interview with me.
No problem.
My first question is, what led Macon R1 administration to becoming a BYOD district this year?
Several things. One was that our students were becoming more and more plugged in all the time with technology. And a lot of our students had mobile devices that they could use at school for educational purposes. And we decided that we would try to, instead of push that away, try to embrace it. And the next thing we did when we decided that that was the direction we kind of wanted to go is to visit some schools that had already traveled that road. So we went to, tech guys went to a couple different schools that were doing it, looked at their policies, looked at their procedures, talked to their administration, talked to their technology staff, found out kind of what they were doing and brought back that information to us. We tweaked it a little bit and rolled it out. So that's kind of been the process.
Okay. So why did we choose to bring their own device instead of requiring every student to have the same device?
Well, I think it's hard to say that this is the device we're going to require everyone to use, because many devices will allow students to do the same thing, and some of them are much cheaper than others. So we didn't want to limit that and limit who could participate in that because of financial reasons.
I've been telling students that they should be asking for, if they don't have a device, to ask for one maybe for Christmas or their birthday. What are some benefits to being a bring your own device district to our staff and our students?
Well, I think there's a lot of benefits. I think the number one benefit that I see is that kids are motivated by it. And I think particularly for us here at the middle school, sometimes we have a hard time motivating kids. We don't necessarily have credits. At the same time, we need kids to succeed. We need them to be successful. And this is another tool that, if used properly, can motivate kids to achieve. And that's what we want to try to do.
With that being said, do you see any potential problems that may arise?
Absolutely. There will be all kinds of challenges and struggles that we will face with BYOD, and in fact, this is the first week of school, and we've already some really good questions have been raised. And how do we manage, the students logging onto our network where we have firewalls in place to keep kids safe and from seeing content they don't want to see, we don't want them to see, and them using their data plan to get on Facebook or Instant Messenger or other apps and things that they could potentially see or use that would not be safe for them. And that is my biggest concern, is safety of our kids and distributing material that's inappropriate.
Okay, so if a student is on their data plan, or if you see that as a problem, how are we going to deal with that problem?
Well, I don't know that we've fully crossed that bridge yet to know exactly how we're going to deal with that. Obviously, if a student I'll use the example of a cell phone. If a student is in violation of the cell phone policy, they're using a cell phone in an inappropriate time or an inappropriate way, then we would initiate our standard procedure for the cell phone policy. Okay. Now, that being said, those lines are going to be blurred quite a bit. It's not going to be near as black and white as what it has been in the past. So we're going to have to rely on teachers and staff to use good judgment and use common sense in enforcing those policies. And probably some kids are going to get some breaks that they wouldn't have gotten in the past.
Okay. A couple of technical questions. Is our technology department recommending any device devices or accessories for their devices at this point?
Not at this time, no. Once again, we're just trying to open this up for kids and allow them to bring their device so they can use it here, use it at home, and use that as an educational tool.
Something that I hadn't thought of, do students have access to our power outlets if their devices need to be charged?
I wouldn't know why not. I mean, I think that if there's an outlet that's available and they need to plug their device in, then as long as they have permission from the teacher to do that, I see no reason why not.
Okay. It hasn't been a problem in my classroom yet. Just a few have asked to, and I said that was okay, so that's good to know. What happens if a digital device is lost or stolen?
Well, we've got it in our policy that we are not responsible for stolen or lost items, and bring at your own risk. You know, we've had several parents and students inquire about locks for lockers to lock their devices up, and that's you know, certainly something that we're going to have to look into and address to try and protect them as much as we can. So.
Okay. What should students do with their digital devices when they're not in use?
Well, they need to keep them put away, and I suggest, you know, we ask kids to have binders, and most of their devices can be stored in their binder, put away, kept on their person, and that would be my suggestion would be to them. Obviously, they have other options, and they can keep them in their locker and those sort of things, but that would be my suggestion.
Currently, we don't allow backpacks in our classrooms. If they have perhaps a laptop or one of the larger tablets, are they allowed to have laptop bags?
Depending on the size, I would say so. You know, we've got, we allow the drawstring bags,
right.
or something about equivalent of that size. So I think a laptop bag would be similar to that. I think the thing we have to be careful about is with the backpacks and with the bags is we don't want to congest the classroom. The reason we went to the backpack is so that students and teachers could move freely in the classroom without having safety concerns, and we want to continue to keep that in place.
Okay. Where may students use their devices when they're not in class?
Right now, we are allowing students to use them in the cafeteria, in the gym before school, and then the kind of the areas we've asked that they keep them put up is traveling between classes, in the halls, in the locker room, and in the restrooms for safety reasons.
Will devices be used in every class? And do you recommend that all the teachers use them? Are they expected to?
Well, at this time, they're not expected to, but I think that it's going to come a point when that expectation is there. We've got to work to come into the mobile age and utilize this as an educational tool, and I think that there can be lots of benefits from it for kids to have their information on their tablet and be able to use that both at home and at school.
Okay, last question. What kind of professional development will faculty be provided with to make sure that they're taking full advantage of digital devices in the classroom and that they're used appropriately?
You know, that's a great question, and I don't know that I have an answer for it. Right now, we do not have anything that I'm aware of set up for that specifically. However, I do think that, you know, related to your last question, isn't an expectation. I think when it becomes an expectation, we will have to be able to provide the support that teachers need to be comfortable with the devices. And I think that that's something we certainly need to be thinking about.
All right. And are you open for suggestions from staff on
Always.
ways to use?
Always.
All right. Well, thanks for the interview. Got some good information. I appreciate it very much.
No problem.